When I move animals, I'm looking at them, and then I'm also looking at what they're leaving behind. And if I'm not comfortable with how they look and how they're behaving, and I'm also not comfortable with what they're leaving behind, then I might go back and rejig and just maybe look at the plan and change it. I'll also try to go out every month, particularly when it gets hotter, and just do another pasture assessment, because pasture can be there in November, and in December it can be totally changed and totally different. And it can sort of just disappear for some reason. The heat and winds and things like that can actually change how much feed you've got on hand. So that, yeah, the day-to-day monitoring would be when I'm out moving animals, looking at the animal, looking to see if they've got enough food, and look at their gut behind their ribs, and to see if they're either hollow, or if a number of the animals are hollow and not getting enough food. I'd also look at their dung, and to see whether it's a pile of dung or whether it's a nice custody consistency cow pat. That's telling me they're getting the quality. One of the things I look at is the dung and the dung scoring. It's a flat pancake, little bit raised, custody textures, dried on top just because it's quite warm out here. But that's what I'm looking for. So they're digesting the feed well, there's enough protein, and then looking at their rib site, they're getting enough food. So happy days. And then I'll look at the grass and the paddock itself, and it's a very subjective view, and I'll just go, well, the ground's covered still, or I've got enough there, so if it does get dry 6 months down the track, I've got enough to come back into. So that's the day-to-day, and constantly observing. Observation is really key. So this is how, if the cattle are going to move out, this is how I'd like to leave it. So there's grass has been knocked down, it's been a bit trampled just in this spot here, and plenty of ground cover, so any drop of rainfall we get will stay on here, go in and not run off. This is the paddock where the cattle are going to move into, and we're at the end of our spring, really. We're coming into summer, so everything's senesced and dried off. Our rule of thumb is 100 days recovery. Usually I would try to find a perennial desirable species to look at and just see if it's fully recovered. But looking across it, I can't just yet, so I'm just looking at biomass and the types. Even the annual grasses are in here. There's ryegrass, and I know that with the little furry top clover, there's enough protein for them to utilise this dry feed. I'm happy with how the paddock looks, and I'm really happy to put the cattle in here because I know that there'll be enough and it's reasonable enough quality. The outcome of doing that day to day, I may have to adjust moves. I may have to hold animals for a short amount of time. My recovery might get shorter, and if that continues on for a few moves or even a few weeks, it's a bit of a tap on the shoulder to say, you're probably running too many animals. You've got to be doing this stuff early. If you waited and you suddenly were forced to do a big sell, your livestock will be in worse condition, but also the market probably wouldn't be in your favour. So it's just constant observation, constant monitoring, constant questioning. Am I doing the right thing? Is my plan okay?